the voice of young people is becoming incredibly important in our society. Having taught in the university sector now, I notice more and more that many of the young people seem to be deficient in basic skills, deficient in English, deficient in maths. They just don't seem to have that grounding. And that's something I think I kind of empathise with, because I straddle those two systems, those changes, and actually began to see that happen and experience it as well. And I think it, to some extent, has shaped the way I see things now. Schools are not really, bringing children to their full potential. I don't think it's the schools which are at fault. I've always thought it was the curriculum. That if you set something which is not very demanding for children, and then they achieve it, they haven't achieved very much. We do need to dip in and find out what's really going on. We cannot just have a situation where there are no tests. We have to test children's ability, what they've picked up, what they haven't learnt. That is a very, very important measure, particularly when children are moving up to secondary school. When you have tests, it does make teachers sit up, because it doesn't only say something about the child's progress, it also says something about the school as well, and I do believe that's important. And I don't think we should be afraid of having our children tested. Having SATs tests, I believe, gives us a really good benchmark at the end of primary education. That information is absolutely crucial. The SATs tests, which I'm very much in favour of, are actually very demanding. When you get to year 6 and you sit these tests, it really does, demonstrate whether a child has grasped mathematical progress, English as well. It's very demanding. But the curriculum which leads to that is, I believe, still deficient. It doesn't actually map out a way for children to get to that point. The schools have the child for over 30 hours a week. We have them for 2.5. And my question is, what are they doing in there? Because we can make a huge difference in just 2.5 hours. So if our 2.5 hours was plumbed into the school curriculum, they could have the other 27.5, whatever it is, to do what they like. Because we were achieving the rest of it. So it isn't about making life very prescriptive for teachers. You can have lots and lots of free time. You've just got to do the right things. When I met with the Secretary of State, one of the Secretary of States for Education, he asked me what I thought of the national curriculum. He gave me a copy of it, and I just said to him, I don't understand it. And he said, neither do I. And he said, don't worry, you'll be on the committee. And I thought, well, that's how my work with the national curriculum began. But I do believe that there should be a greater involvement with parents, because I believe that parents can help educate their children. Homework is so important for children's independent learning skills. Parental concerns have been something which have driven me, really, because I think parents are the forgotten people in all of this. I said recently to the Secretary of State for Schools, when I had a meeting with him in London, I said, you have no idea how angry parents are with the system. They're not happy with the progress their children are making. They're not taken in by political sound bites, because they see evidence that their child's potential is not really being mined. And I think we all want children to achieve the very best that they can. And whatever their limits are, we're happy providing they reach them. But if their talents and their potential isn't tapped, I think parents wonder why their children are going to school. I mean, and I think that there's an increase in homeschooling quite a lot of parents are just saying, we've had enough, we'll take them out, we'll do it ourselves. It's very difficult to make what I would call universal comprehensive education work in Britain without giving people who need different opportunities, different routes. And I believe that that's what we need to do. We need a system that's not universally grammar school, but if you are academically able, then whatever class or background you come from, you should be given an opportunity. You know, all children, girls and boys, should have every opportunity presented to them.